Thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos, my friends. My name is Maddix, for you that don't know, and I'm the author of Just Juice It and the book How You Can Have It All, even if you think it's impossible. And the proud dad of the one and only Caleb Maddix, and I am the founder of My Sales Daily, My Health 90, and Maddix Publishing. But the reason why I'm shooting this video is because I've been in the entrepreneur space for over 20 years. And I've had my idols, and I've had my heroes, and I've had people that I've read, and mentors, and people that I've greatly respected. People like Tony Robbins, and people like Warren Buffett, people like Jack Canfield, and Grant Cardone, and all the greats that we grew up listening to. And for me, sometimes what would happen is I would watch all these people, and then I would look at my life, and I would look at where I was. I would see where I am, and I would see Tony Robbins way up here. I would, see somebody that was getting more views or selling more books, or, maybe had more fame, more popularity, getting more speaking gigs. And I noticed I was starting to fall into the trap of comparison. How many of you guys have ever been there before? Come on, be honest. You know what it's like where you look at somebody and you're better than they are, and you know that you're cooler than they are, but yet they seem to be more popular, they seem to have more money, maybe a prettier wife or girlfriend, or maybe a nicer car. And sometimes what happens is you can fall into a trap or an illusion, and you can begin to crave what they have. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why this type of thinking is dangerous, and how we really should be thinking rather than trying to compare ourselves to other people. I'm just going to help pull us back into reality, because what I'm going to do is, if you follow what I'm about to teach you guys, I'm going to reawaken your own power and your own mastery and your own strengths, and pull you out of this feeling of insecurity or discouragement, or that feeling of I'm not enough or I'll never arrive. And so here we go, my friends. Grab a pen and paper. Most millionaires use a legal pad, so grab your legal pad and write these things down. And I want you to evaluate. I want you to see, what's going on in your life. I want you to look deep within. See what you need to change. See maybe if you need to have a shift in your thinking. And so here it goes. Number 1, the reason why it's so dangerous to compare ourselves to others is because it's not realistic. In other words, there are many things. What happens is this gets us into fantasy thinking rather than reality. The reality is there were many things that transpired in somebody's like Oprah or Warren Buffett or Tony Robbins or Donald Trump or whoever it might be. We see these people, maybe Shark Tank, people like Mark Cuban or Damon John or whoever it might be, Kevin O'Leary, Kevin Harrington. We see all these people, but we don't realize that, some of it had to do with maybe their parents, or maybe some kind of pressure that they went through, some kind of heartbreak. Maybe the fact that they had a mentor. I mean, you look at Tony Robbins, he got to train under Jim Rome. There were certain people, my friends, and it doesn't mean that they had better opportunity than us. It's just the reality that there were many pieces that fit into the puzzle. Some of them were the first to the marketplace. Some of them, were mentored, or they were in a different era. Maybe they were first to do the infomercial, or they were first to start a podcast. And so some of these things are just reality, my friends. And so the reason why it's dangerous to compare yourself to other people is because it pulls you out of reality and gets you into fantasy. And quite frankly, it just messes up your thoughts. And we're going to go deeper on this. The second reason is because when you compare yourself to others, you start focusing on the wrong things. And what happens when you compare yourself to others, most of the time it takes you out of the state of gratitude. And you guys all know there is no happiness without gratitude. There is no freedom without gratitude. There is no breakthrough without gratitude. There's no peace. So the moment you leave this state of gratitude, you lose that feeling of fulfillment and happiness within your own life, and It leads to unhealthy emotions. It causes you to sometimes get jealous. How many of you guys watching this video, I know I have. There's been times I looked at people that were even my age, people that, you know, I started doing video blogs way before them, or people that, you know, maybe I felt like I had a better personality. And so rather than celebrating their success, it turned to jealousy because I left gratitude. See, when you're grateful, there is no jealousy. When you're grateful, you live in this abundance where you're so thankful that that person that you admire is having success and that they have money or they have freedom or whatever it might be. So you got to be careful that this doesn't lead you to resentment or insecurity, or a lot of times what can happen is comparison leads to frustration. It leads to distraction. It'll distract you away from your mission and your purpose. It leads to depression. And so it does one or two things. You know, it leads to ego or emptiness. Sometimes you compare yourself to others and then your ego says, well, I'm better than they are. And then you're not coming from a place of abundance. Or it leads to emptiness where you don't feel like you'll ever measure up, or you'll never become what they are or have what they have. Okay? And like I teach my son, Caleb, sometimes some things are just straight up destiny. And that's where you got to see the bigger picture, and that's where you've got to have a mindset of abundance where you live your life and you do your mission. And more on that in a little bit. But the third reason why it's dangerous to compare ourselves to others is because it depletes our energy and our power. Think about it for a minute. Usually this leads to victim thinking or excuse making. So when you start comparing yourself to others, you start to feel like a victim because you didn't have the dad that they had. You didn't have the breaks that they had. Oprah didn't find your book, but they found his book. And so rather, again, than you staying in this state of abundance and power, you start to think and feel like a victim. And then it literally causes you to start making excuses. See, successful people never make excuses. They never say things like, well, if I had the dad they did, or if I had the breaks they had, or if I could only get on Ellen, or I could only have, you know, somebody retweet me. No, my friends. Responsible people, successful people don't even think that way. They're committed to the process and so in love with the journey that they literally have no space in their brain for that kind of thinking, okay? So, and listen, the reality is, the truth is, you guys want to know the truth? The truth is that a lot of the people that you've compared yourself to, they literally outworked you. They went through more pain and more pleasure. There's an old saying that says, you want to have my resurrection, but you don't want to have my cross. Sometimes you're just simply not willing to pay the price they paid to get to where they are today. And that's just something you've got to admit, you've got to accept, you've got to get honest about. Okay? And then the fourth reason why it's dangerous to compare yourself to others is because, you know, it takes you away from your focus. And your focus is supposed to be on what? Your mastery, your purpose, your passion, your path, your calling, why God put you on this earth and what your strengths are. See, there are some people that have, you know, imagine if Kobe Bryant watched Michael Phelps and, you know, felt bad because he'll never be able to swim like that. Or imagine, you know, somebody looking at an Olympic athlete, looking at an NBA star. You know, guys, we're all supposed to be focusing on our own mastery. Not being jealous or envying the mastery of others, but to look at their mastery. What can we learn from it? How can it inspire us? And how can we use this to motivate us? So our focus is supposed to be on our strengths 100% and getting so good, my friends, like they said, that nobody can deny or ignore you. That's exactly why, my friend, you should not compare yourself to other people, is because it takes you away from your focus. And you guys know that the real power and the real secret to success is focusing on your strengths, focusing on your mastery. And then the fifth reason why you should never compare yourself to others is because it does lead to discouragement and failure. And you end up starting to self-sabotage. You start to make bad decisions. You stop, doing what you love. You stop working hard. And a lot of people, quite frankly, quit when they start comparing themselves because they feel overwhelmed, because they feel like I'll never arrive, I'll never be good enough. Please, I'm throwing the life jacket at all you entrepreneurs out there to stop. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Love yourself, accept yourself, grow every day, get better. Get a mentor, get a coach. Speaking of coach, that's what I do, my friends. And if any of you watch my videos and you would like to work with me one-on-one, all you got to do is just click the link in my YouTube channel. It'll take you to a short little form that you fill out. There's no pressure whatsoever. It just shows you a few options, help me get to know you better, and I would be honored to become your personal coach and mentor. And it's stuff like this that I will tell you and show you how to strategically overcome these traps. These are some of the traps and the real reason why some people are not breaking through and not having success. It all goes back to your mindset and your energy and your beliefs. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. Do me a favor though. If you got any value out of this YouTube video whatsoever, I want you to share this out on your social media. Even text the link to some of your friends, because you never know who needs to hear this content and who could be inspired and encouraged by it. I love you guys. I believe in you, my friend.